بلاي ستيشن 5 من ذهب. نعم حبيبي، مثل ما انا شفته انت راح تشوف شلون وليش راح تشوف. تقدر انت تسويه داخل البيت. مثل ما تعرفون ان الاسعار لحد الان متراكمه غير مستقره بالميدل ايست. ناس تبيع ب$1000، ناس تبيع $1200، ناس تبيع $800، وهو السعر الاساسي 499 سنت، يعني $500. فمتع نظرك، استمتع بالحدث اللي راح تشوف المطور اللي طوره. فحابب اذكركم اذا ما كنت مشترك اشترك بالقناه، فعل جرس التنبيهات، سوي لنا لايك، خلينا نوصل اقرب وقت الى 600 مشترك. شكرا على الدعم اللي جاي تقدمونه. احب اذكركم ان كل يوم نسوي بث مباشر على البرنامج النونو لايف. رابط البث المباشر خليها جو ديسكربشن. حياكم الله، مشاهدة ممتعة. السلام عليكم.
Brass is a centuries-old alloy of
جاب
copper
البراس
and zinc
الحديد
and has historically had a wide range of uses, from intricate decorative pieces to durable mechanical components. What makes it so exciting to use
يعني
for
أي شيء
homemade
عندك من
projects, however,
النحاس،
is that it
البراس،
can be
الحديد.
bent, cut, soldered to and polished with relative ease, allowing for incredible results even using just basic tools, as I've discovered with some recent builds. Despite this workability, the PS5 is such an unusual shape that it's going to be a huge challenge to recreate this outer chassis with brass and still retain its sleek appearance. But if I get it right, it's going to look stunning. The first step is to strip the PlayStation right down to its individual components. This is actually fairly straightforward, and as you can see, it's quite a remarkable device internally, especially with its unique-looking heatsink. Continuing the strip-down process allows me to remove this central glossy plastic mid-cover, which is the first part I'm going to recreate in brass. For this, I'm starting with some sheeting that's 1.5mm thick to match the original part. But predictably, marking its shape for cutting out is a bit tricky, as it's well curved, so can't be easily flattened out. The solution for this is to instead make a template using paper, as it can be bent to match the part's curvature. Once cut out, it can simply be stuck to the brass and a jigsaw used to trim it down to match. This leaves me with quite a nice shape, and I can now manually bend it to copy the original curves. This takes ages to do accurately, but it's worth it, as with a little time, patience and precision, it ends up being an almost exact replica. Nice. The power button. This button actually triggers a little surface mount switch mounted to a PCB on the back, and as brass is fairly soft, using files is a great way to make a replacement for it. The hump in the middle allows it to press against the surface mount switch, while the little side wings prevent it from falling through a groove made for it in the new brass front. As the switch's PCB needs to be held precisely in position for it to all work properly, we can simply solder some PCB pillar supports in place with a blowtorch. This is one of my favourite characteristics about brass, as when it reaches the right temperature, the solder just melts on contact and gets pulled in between each part.
هنا احنا عندنا بالوطن العربي بصورة عامة ما حد يخاطر يفصل يفتح يعني قطعة انا مشتريها 200 إلى $900. مستعد انه اقصها واجيب ممتعني يجي بس الاجانب شوف سعره مناسب $500 تأن وعنده وكاملة وورشة عمل مصيبة.
By capillary action, resulting in a nice strong joint when cooled.
واثق من شغله.
Looking good. A similar process can be used for the front USB ports, and some additional mounting points will later allow it to be held securely to the console. Like everything, these need to be as accurate as possible for it to actually fit, but we'll have to wait until later to see whether it will.
يعني ما خاف يحمى.
For now though, it's
تعرض
time to work on
الحرارة
the
قوية. هذا
trickiest part of
حديد.
this build, which is
هذا مو
the side
نحاس
panels.
مو
I'm
بلاستيك.
quite skeptical about being able to recreate these with brass, as they're such unusual shapes with opposing curved directions on each axis.
يعني شغل
So
قالب
making
شلون راح يجيبه؟
this out of this is not
هذا
going to be
عدل.
easy. Attempting to bend it by hand reveals another characteristic of brass that causes a few problems here, which is that, like many metals, it has a certain amount of elasticity.
وين رب العالمين طلع
This basically means that it will spring back to its original shape unless it's forced past the point at which it yields and goes into plastic deformation. As you've perhaps predicted, this means that it's extremely difficult to put enough force into it to
واثق
get
من
it to
شغله
bend
يعني
at all. And despite
مطمن
trying for an
ويعرف
hour or
كل
so,
الزين
just
انه راح
looks
يجيبها
awful
وفعلا
and
جاب.
nothing close to what I need.
والله العظيم الفيديو ما
Thankfully
شايفه،
though, there is a way out
قلت
here.
اشوفه وياكم
Take this small strip of brass as
نبوع
an
لك اللي احنا
example.
نسويه.
You can see its elasticity as I push against it, and if I push hard enough it goes into plastic deformation. If I wanted to bend it to touch the vise, however, nothing I do will make it stay flush, as its elasticity prevents it from fully yielding. However, things get interesting if I hold it in this position and then add some heat.
ضل يصهر.
Once cool again, it actually stays in this shape because the heat
خلاها
has
تاخذ
relaxed the
قياسها.
internal stresses in the
واو على التصوير. نداخل يو اس بي. يعني الناس متانية ينخص سعر حتى ياخذون البلاستيك، ياخذون براس.
The warm, reflective nature of the brass, combined with the delicate curves of the A couple of things to note here is that compared with the original, the look really is quite striking, and certainly more eye-catching, and makes a nice companion to the brass monitor. I did have to move one of the Wi-Fi antennas outside at the back though to keep the Wi-Fi signal strong, but as the back will rarely be seen, this isn't too much of an issue.